Hi, my name is Keith Atamati, and I'm with Powers Parker. I am excited to demonstrate to you our state-of-the-art FASTBACK 20 document binding system. I personally call it a multifunctional, high-speed document binding system with green technology. And that's because on demand, at a high speed, you can create several different types of professionally bound documents without using plastic material or punching holes in the paper. For example, you can do tape binding, tape-bound documents. You can do image strip binding, where you print your logos, your company name on the binding strip to differentiate your name and company versus other competitors. You can create perfect back books. This is a full wraparound cover, like a textbook. You can create peel-off notepads. And you can make hardcover books. These are for your high-end presentations. The FASTBACK 20 only has 3 different sizes of binding strips: narrow, medium, and wide size. And you can bind anywhere from 5 sheets all the way up to 350 sheets, which is 700 pages duplex of 20-pound bond paper, or 1.5 inches in thickness. All of our boxes contain 100 binding strips, and they're space-friendly, and all of our binding strips are biodegradable, so they're environmental friendly. Now, let me show you how easy it is to bind a professionally bound document with the FASTBACK 20. All you have to do is grab your document, add your front and back covers. You can use any type of front and back covers as long as they are heat resistant. And you insert them in the machine all at once. And the FASTBACK 20 has a color LCD screen that gives you step-by-step instructions every time you bind a document. So when you insert your document in the machine, move it all the way to the right, make sure your document is nice and flush, and press the green button. And when you do that, the FASTBACK 20 automatically detects the thickness of your document and lets you know which size binding strip you should use. As of right now, it's telling you your document is a narrow size. So here we have the medium, wide, and the narrow. So we're going to use a narrow. Grab your binding strip with the glue side up, insert it in the slot until he grabs it from you. And the most important part of the binding process is to let your document cool off on the cooling rack. Once your document has cooled off, you can open the document perfectly flat, lay it flat. You can wrap it around, and each page will hold 50 pounds of pull pressure. It is not going to come off unless you rip it off. As you see, I'm pulling it really strong. However, there are some times when people make mistakes and there's typos, so we don't want to trash this because this is valuable, it is money. So one of the best features of the FASTBACK 20 is that it has an editing feature. You can enter the menu and you choose edit, and now you're in edit mode. Insert your document in the machine, move it to the right, push bind button. What this does, it reheats the binding strip for you, and you don't need to trash your front cover, back cover, or the binding strip. So it gives you flexibility to add a sheet, remove a sheet, or replace. Once the document comes back, you pull on the sheet that you want to replace, and you can replace it with another one, and we're going to let it cool off again. Now I would like to show you how to bind image strips. It's very simple, and it's just like the tape binding, the process. In order to bind the image strip, you have to go on the menu and choose image strip mode. And when you do that, the machine will tell you that the temperature is adjusting for the image strips. First, you need the image blanks, which contains 3 wide size strips stuck on a sheet of paper. You get the templates from us, you can do all your designing, and you will have to print it through an inkjet printer. Once you print it through your inkjet printer, your binding strips will look like this. You can enter the image settings to adjust your wrap. For example, if you need spine titling, you will put it on an even wrap. Or if you want to differentiate your logo and show it off more on your front cover, you can use a maximum wrap. And all you have to do is peel off the binding strip and feed it in the binding machine just how we bound the tape bound book. And that's how easy you can create an image strip. Now let me show you how easy it is to create a perfect binding document with the FASTBACK 20. First, what we do is we bind our document with the TA strips. The TA strips has a wax paper on the outside of it. Once your document has cooled off, we peel off this wax paper like this. And then you're gonna need your cover, which is pre-scored with the power scoring machine. And all you have to do is enter the settings. You can go into the TA settings and adjust the temperature and the cover cycle and the spine time based on your thickness of your cover. And once that's all set, we go into the TA cover mode. And the machine will adjust its temperature based on the settings that you placed. Grab your document, insert it inside the cover, and the cover goes inside the FASTBACK 20. Move it all the way to the right, make sure it's nice and flush, and press the bind button. Once the binding cycle has finished, let your document cool off in the cooling rack until the glue has cooled off. In order to do the peel off notepads, we use the same binding strips as the FASTBACK strips. Insert your document in the machine. I pre-cut this binding strip to the correct size, and I'm gonna feed it with the uncut side first. Press bind. Once it's ready, as always, you let your document cool off in the cooling rack. And when it's ready, simply take the wax paper and peel it off. Just like that. You have yourself a nice notepad. And if you like, you can add a cardboard on the back of your peel off notepad. And last but not least, I would like to show you how to create beautiful hardcovers on demand. We have two types of hardcovers, easy back covers and the original hardcovers. I'm gonna start with the easy backs. It's very simple to create them on demand. We have our front cover and the back cover. And in the middle is your document. Just like tape binding, insert the whole document in the machine, move it all the way to the right, press bind, and the FASTBACK 20 tells us a narrow size. Your strip inside the machine. Once your document is ready, let it cool off. When it has cooled off, it will open totally flat and look very professional. In order to do original hardcovers, first we need our document and we need end leaves. End leaves are 11 by 17 sheets that are folded in half. One goes in the front and one goes in the back of the document. And we insert the whole thing in the machine, press bind, and insert the binding strip. Once your document is ready, you let it cool off on its spine again in the cooling rack. And your hardcovers, they'll come in like this in different sizes based on the thickness of your document. And they have glue on the inside. All we need to do now is to assemble your document into the hardcover. And you will need a FASTBACK hardcover guide. The FASTBACK hardcover guide comes with several easy steps First step, grab your cover, insert it inside the guide, and lock it in place. The next step, I peel off a little bit of this wax paper and I fold it. Then we grab the document that we bound on the FASTBACK 20, insert it inside here against the guides all the way until it stops, and press down a little bit so it attaches to the glue. I'll lift up this side and release the rest of the wax paper and let the document roll. And we do the same thing to the other side, but now we can remove the entire wax paper. And you grab your cover and move it all the way until it touches both guides. And now we can release, open it, and just make sure it's all stuck to the covers. And this is how you can create yourself on demand a highly professional hardcover book. By now you should be fully trained, because this is how you bind a professionally bound document with the FASTBACK 20.